Arsenal are choking away the title in the Premier League, and Barcelona are only getting stronger in La Liga.
Inter are starting to separate themselves from the pack in Italy, and in Germany, down go the champions. What does this mean for Bayern going forward? Probably nothing. All this and more on episode 110 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. News, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Oh yeah. Gotta love it. I don't want to take too much of the shine away whenever we drop it, but apparently the homies, they're about to make a cool punk rock introduction for us. So I don't know if they were messing with me, actually. You know, that could have been a joke, but either way, we'll figure it out. Okay, let's just jump in. Welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze. We got the full fam today. J-Fam, the Brainiac, hanging out in the back. Danny P on the ones and twos. And of course, my dog, hype man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, today I got another pour of bourbon here. I was thinking about doing a cocktail, but man, I got pretty lazy. And I was watching Monday Night Raw. Like, you know, this is always cut off because I'm watching Monday Night Raw. But one pour I haven't had in a long time is a special edition 8-year Wild Turkey 101. It is the Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary release. Of course, whenever you get a sniff, you get, I'm not kidding, I'm not going to say stewed cherries, but you do get a lot of oak on here. There's some vanilla, some caramel, all kinds of absolute goodness. So while I take a sip of this limited release, go ahead and like and subscribe. It's the best way to say, hey, maybe these guys on YouTube are pretty cool to talk to every once in a while. And it definitely helps us out with the algorithm. So cheers. Ooh, that was a good one.
That was nice. That was a nice clang tonight. I've had plenty of Wild Turkey shots on some 6th Street nights. So I don't know if that one's that fancy to me. I mean, that's just me. You know, I don't know anything about this, though. So,
but it's limited. It's limited.
Oh, unlimited, like Russell Wilson back there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're chatty today. We like this. So we have a full slate of games to cover, and a lot is going on. Full slate in Serie, Bundesliga, La Liga, and of course the Prem. So without further ado, Vic, let's jump in. Let's go to Italy.
Let's do it to Serie.
Yes, and of course we have a end of window in what, 3-4 days? I guess you said the first is Sunday. I saw it on our tickets. We were just talking with Austin FC thing, breaking the fourth wall. So that means I think it shuts on the 2nd. So that means Monday is the end of the winter transfer window. So there's a bunch of rumors swirling around, players shifting. You see them, they're already starting to play for the teams they moved, and it's pretty crazy to just see this guy over here, and then he's just on this team now. So happened all over the place. And said, there's a lot that's going on. Specifically, we're seeing a lot of people come in for Napoli. Roma already did all their business. They're ready to go. And then also Inter are getting some stuff done. So we'll see how those signings go. But not a lot of nudes. not a lot of nudes they've sent us since then, but really hoping for those nudes to come through. News and notes is the words I was looking for. So let's go, baby. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and jump in to Serie Matchday 22. And of course, we will start with your No Business Soccer Podcast top matches and headlines for Serie Matchday 22. And our first match was Juve getting a statement 3-0 win against Napoli, and that makes them just 1 point out of the Champions League competition places.
Well. It turns out that Juve still got that dog in them. I was a little worried after the loss to Cagliari last time out, but they put Napoli down like they grabbed a hot pan off the stove. Napoli might have had the bulk of the possession, but Juve were lethal on the counterattack. And maybe they made the most of their opportunities because it was just some beautiful play. Let me put it that way. A lot of the times you see these Juve games and they don't have a lot of oomph in them. They end up getting the goals, a little scrappy. But this one, it was lovely to see. How about that? The way the English would put it there. It was lovely to see. Juve might be out of the title race at this point, but they are primed for another run in the Champions League if they can keep this up. Napoli, on the other hand, have just about lost their chance to repeat as champions as they fall back 9 points from Inter and are about to get bounced from the Champions League. It is insane what's going on with Napoli. Not good for the champs. Not good for Conte as well. But man, what can you do whenever those injuries are just piling up on them?
And our second match was a tough one as Roma and Milan get a goal apiece, a point apiece, drawing 1-1.
This one will be tough for Roma to swallow because they had plenty of chances in the first half, but they could not finish them off. Specifically talking about Daniel Malin, who was terrorizing Milan in the box, but couldn't get it over the line. Speaking of Daniel Malin, he's kind of changed things around. Then the second half, De Winter heads home from a Modric cross, and Milan ends up 1-0. And this was against the run of play, in my opinion. I'm sure there might be some Milan fans that don't think so, but I did feel like Roma were the better team up until then. Roma did get a late penalty thanks to a handball to salvage a point, but man, they could have put this one to bed if they had just a bit more luck.
And those are your top matches and headlines from Serie A Match Day 22. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the match day. And we hit the ground running on Friday with the number ones, Inter earning a certified no business soccer podcast belt to ass match award, beating Pisa 6-2.
We need a belt smack sound, because this is this one is what it's like.
You remember Marvel Rivals? I think it wasn't Marvel Rivals. It was Ultimate Alliance, and Luke Cage. Like his superpower was just beating somebody with his belt.
I don't, but that is hilarious.
I'll find it, bro. I gotta say, that's what I always think of when I
Like I heard someone spanked something.
Yeah, just
hey, there you go.
Not even
Are
super.
You doing that? Who's doing that? Is that you?
Oh, that was me.
Oh, you're doing that. Okay. Yeah, that's like you're acting really well. It sounded nice. We just need to record that. Just clip that and use that. But anyway, the point was. That's what Inter did to Pisa because Pisa pissed off Inter whenever they went in. Well, you see the full score. You can tell that they pissed them off because 6-2, like, they ain't no need to do that. But they went up 2-0. Pisa went up 2-0 at the San Siro and stunned the San Siro. The crowd was completely silent. We couldn't believe what was going on. Not like I was there. That would have been really cool if I was there. But no, I meant like as a collective watching this game, we could not believe what was happening. And then it didn't matter because Inter went on to score 6 unanswered goals. They were already up 3-2 at halftime. So get this. Pisa scores 2-0 in the first half, and you think like, man, this is going to be a rough day for Inter. Oh, don't worry, because like before halftime, it was already done, and then they didn't stop there. They made sure they got 3 more in the second half. Yeah, Inter definitely looking like the champs in Serie A.
We then moved on to Saturday, and we don't lose a step as we have your second consecutive certified no business soccer podcast belt to ass match in Como dominating Torino 6-0.
Como make it back-to-back wins with this emphatic win over Torino, who have now lost 4 in a row and are in real trouble if they don't make a turnaround ASAP. This is a great sign for Como, though, as their very young squad is starting to develop. They're starting to gel as a team and as a squad. They haven't even had Diao or Adai healthy for a while now. They're just going to be really fun to watch down the stretch once those guys get back in. But a 6-0 against Torino, man, that is awesome. Not awesome for Torino.
No, not. Yeah. You just pissed off.
Right. I know. I'm trying to be unbiased, but it's very, very, very biased.
It's okay. It's a belt ass match. It's
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Next up, we had Cagliari reminding our Fiorentina what it's like to lose as they beat our boys in purple 2-1.
Damn, man, that it sucked. Fiorentina were on a roll, and it was all undone by Cagliari, who get back-to-back wins and push our Fiorentina back down to the basement of the league. It really wasn't an ideal result for Fiorentina as they were just starting to get some momentum. They were starting to feel themselves, and then right back to the basement. Not cool. Not good.
And Saturday's ending left a lot to be desired as Lecce and Lazio draw 0-0.
By the way, I didn't mention it. I should have mentioned it, but Cagliari, back-to-back weeks, they beat Juve and they beat Fiorentina. I mean, come on. They're doing some great, big stuff. Okay, so we're on to Lecce and Lazio 0-0. I think our Lazio is in a transitional period right now. They find out how they're trying to find out who their long-term manager is. And because at this point, I think it's safe to say that Sarri is not the answer. It's only 1 win in the last 5 Serie A games, and they're sitting in 9th in the table. All this against the Lecce side who lost 4 straight coming into this matchup. Yeah, not looking good for our Lazio.
We then moved on to Sunday as Sassuolo wins this battle of the newly promoted, beating Cremonese 1-0.
both teams have been riding on the points that they earned earlier this season, but have been very poor recently. So Swallow turns that around here, though, and I don't know if they can carry the momentum on, but it's a good start against a direct opposition because I can see these teams. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. They're mid-table, but ultimately, I don't know where they're going to end up. It looks like Cremonese is on the way down, and so Swallow, opposite direction for them.
And our next match was a one-sided affair as Atalanta make it 5 straight without a defeat, beating Parma 4-0.
Atalanta didn't play around in this one as they scored early and they scored often and never let Parma get this one going. The AT Aliens are now unbeaten in their last 5, as Vic just said. In Serie A, they're storming back under the new boss, Palladino, and they are coming for those European spots. And it's crazy because you think how bad they played in the Champions League. It did not matter one bit because they come back and get a 4-0.
And then Sunday continued with more misery for the Bolognians. Bolognites? Bologans? I don't know there. Whatever question. They are, their miserable run of form recently continued as Genoa beat them 3-2.
This was brutal for Bologna, who were up 2-0 and cruising towards 3 points in the second half. But going into the 56th minute, their keeper came out of his box. I mean, they were up 2-0 going into the 56th minute, but at that point, their keeper came out of his box to break up a long ball, but he miskicked it. It went straight to an oncoming attacker, who then the keeper fouled to make sure that he wouldn't get chipped, and then it ended up being a red card, and he got sent off. And then a few minutes later, Genoa hit one of the best long-range free kicks you will see this season, and it was all downhill from there. 2 more spectacular goals, and the home side completed the comeback. If you want to watch highlights from any Serie A match, I mean, you can go watch a lot with those 6-0 or 6-2 and 6-0. But Genoa and Bologna was a lot of fun. All 3 of Genoa's goals were amazing.
And our last 2 matches of Sunday were your No Business Soccer podcast top matches of the week. That was Juve and Napoli and Roma versus Milan. We already talked about those. So we move on to Monday Night Football as Udinese are able to handle business in Verona, getting a 3-1 win.
Udinese put 3 on Verona, and all 3 goals, just like we were talking about with Genoa, were scored, and they were perfect. Verona looked like they're going down, so maybe that's why Udinese had the success they did, but damn, if you go check out those goals, they were all really good.
And that'll do it for your Serie A Match Day 22. Let's go ahead and bring up the table just to give you a refresher. Although Inter are still on top, you don't need a refresher on that one. They've been there for a while, and they are starting to separate themselves from the pack. Mm-hmm. They have 52 points. They are 5 points clear now of AC Milan, who have 47 points in the number 2 spot. Roma have the 43 points, 4 points behind them in the number 3 spot. And then Napoli tumbling down. They have 43 points as well, of course, behind Roma on goal differential. They round out our top 4. And then tickling our top 4 is Juve. Like I said, just 1 spot out of those champions, one spot and 1 point out of those Champions League spaces there. They have 42 points. And then if we look at the bottom of the table, you'll find our boys in purple, Fiorentina in the 18th spot. They have 17 points, would be the first team relegated if the season ended today. And then I have some fun stuff here for number 19 and 20. You have Pisa and Hellas Verona. They both have 14 points. And can you guess why Pisa is on top of Verona?
I'm looking at it. They have the same goal differential as negative 19. They have 2 more losses. So actually, I don't know. I guess the losses. Is that it?
No, that's actually not it. So it's weird the way they do their tiebreakers. First, they go by head-to-head record. They've played 1 time this year, and it was a 0-0 draw. So second is goal differential. Yeah, second is goal differential in the head-to-head, which is 0-0, doesn't count. Third is overall goal differential. They're both tied at negative 19. 4 is goals scored. They both have 18. So it goes to number 5, which is the last one, which is a coin toss. And that's only for like the last match of the season.
If they're ending the year on that.
Yeah. So right now, since it doesn't matter, it's just usually alphabetically, or it's they both put 19, or I've seen Pisa on top. I've seen Verona on top on a bunch of different
ones. It doesn't matter. They're both matter.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. But it took me a while to go down that list and figure out why Pisa was on top of Verona here, and then Verona. Yeah, but those are the 5 criteria for a tiebreaker.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Google Doc, and it's like Verona, Fiorentina, Verona, Pisa. So yeah, crazy stuff. Ultimately, it doesn't matter till the end of the season, right? So They're just like, whatever. That is insane, though. Like, you're so bad, you're tied with another team that's just as bad, though.
Yeah. I just thought that was cool. For all you
before we
stat nerds out there.
You fat nerds, right? What'd you say?
Stat.
Did you stat nerds? I was like, golly, rude, man. That's not.
I want to talk about our no biz fan
Verona
like that,
and Pisa. Yeah, Verona and Pisa people just called you fat nerds. Rude. Anyway, before we move on, I wanted to mention that a couple weeks ago we talked about how the table was very fluid. Like one win here could take you from towards the bottom all the way to mid table and everything, and that's still the case in the middle of the table. They are very close, but it's starting to make steps like in La Liga. You know how La Liga is like 7 here, 7 here. It's starting to be that way at the top of the table too, like where there's a 5-point gap, and then you have another 5-point gap from 7 to 8. Like it's definitely starting to flesh out a bit more. Those Champions League places are going to be a good race, though.
Yeah, it's going to be fun in there.
That is all for Italy. Let's move on to Germany.
Let's do it. Let's do it to Bundesliga.
The biggest news and notes coming from this league is the match. So let's just jump in because this is crazy.
And let's go ahead and jump into match day 19. Of course, we will start with your top matches and headlines. And like you alluded to, we of course start with what might be the most convincing evidence of the No Business Soccer podcast, Kurtz spotlighting a team, and then they immediately take a turn for the worse as Bayern Munich fall to the 15th place Augsburg at home 2-1.
That is insane. The day or a day after we drop a short about the dominance of Bayern, they lose to a team that's like below mid-table, I believe is where they're at right now. Anyway, we'll find out. Yeah, so that is just insane. But how could we not start here? Just when we were thinking that Bayern might not lose a game in the Bundesliga this season, they drop points in the Bavarian derby, and I use that term derby loosely because Bayern do not care about Augsburg, but Augsburg definitely care about their Bavarian neighbors. And Augsburg will live in this moment for years and years to come. This was just the second time ever that Augsburg have beaten Bayern away. And the last time was 10 years ago. Before that, never. They had never done that in Munich. I would say the Allianz Arena, but it might have changed. But, in Munich. Crazier than that, though, is the fact that Arthur Chavez, who got the late equalizing goal for Augsburg, he was brought in on loan from Hoffenheim just days before. Like, this dude was in Hoffenheim on Thursday and scoring goals for Augsburg against Bayern on Saturday. This means nothing for Bayern, though, who are so far ahead in the title race. I mean, I say that so far ahead, they're like 8 points, but just the way that this table or this league is gone, it's just not going to change. But either way, it is a big, big deal for everyone in the Bundesliga who had a field day clowning on Bayern in Twitter and on Twitter and everywhere. Specifically, Augsburg's Twitter account is starting to be one of my favorite ones because they had meme after meme. We were just sharing them it was hilarious. Like the Harry Potter, the Harry Kane one where they're like, hey, are you coming? And then they sent a picture of Harry Kane and what is the WTF? Like, what is this? And what was it like? I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
First off, watch your mouth. Don't talk about Harry Kane like that. Second, that's freaking hilarious. And all these memes. So I saw Leverkusen and I saw Dortmund. They were digging up old Bayern memes. And there's one where they had posted and it was I don't even know what it's from, but it's just like, I'm just a chill guy, just a chill guy, whatever. Is that the Arthur?
It's like the dog or no, it's not Arthur. I don't know where it's from, but
you know what I'm talking about though.
Dog. Yeah. Cartoon dog, right?
Sorry about that, guys. Don't know what the hell that was. I think that was Bayern's staff finding out that we were talking shit about them and they decided to cut out my audio. I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, the meme we were talking about, the guy who's like, oh, just a chill club. And the meme for Bayern said, just a chill club that hasn't lost in the Bundesliga. And then when they lost, everyone Dortmund and Leverkusen were reposting that meme with the eyes, just clowning on Bayern. This is crazy.
Okay.
No one
so
saw
maybe
this
it wasn't
coming.
us. Yeah, maybe it wasn't us.
Nobody saw this coming. So,
all right. Well,
yeah, I was saying nothing else for me, just craziness.
Okay. Well, we'll go to our second top match, your No Business Soccer podcast top match of the weekend. And our second match was the Can It Be number 3's Hoffenheim getting it done again against an Eintracht Frankfurt team that is wondering where it all went wrong. Hoffenheim take this one 3-1.
It all started so well for Eintracht as well, getting a goal early and going into the half 1-0, up 1-0. But something switched at halftime for the Hoff. They came in the second half and put up 3 unanswered goals. And the Hoffenheim project continues to impress. And now not only is Europe a big possibility, Vic, but we're talking about Champions League as a real possibility as well. I mean, we'll have to see how this thing ends. But we talked about it in the preview, how Hoffenheim now had an opportunity to put a blue blood in the Bundesliga to the sword, and they did it.
And those are your top matches and headlines for Bundesliga Match Day 19. Let's go ahead and hop right into the rest of the match day. And it started on Friday with a lower table matchup that lived up to what you just think that match would look like. It was St. Pauli and Hamburg drawing 0-0.
I don't like to say I said I told you so, or I called it often. I don't like to say that, but I definitely did on this one. It was a 0-0 stalemate in the Hamburg derby, and this was why I didn't want to make it one of the top matches. I kind of felt like it would play out this way, and yes, the atmosphere was intense, and yes, it had its moments, but both teams were trying not to lose, and it just didn't make for a great watch. But hey, a 0-0, whatever. I guess both teams needed a point, and we got that.
Then we moved on to Saturday, and it started with the shocker. That was your No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was Augsburg and Bayern. Of course, we already talked about that, so let's go ahead and move on to RB Leipzig, bouncing back from the shellacking they got last week, and it comes at the expense of the now bottom of the league, Heidenheim.
And just like that, Double H are back at the bottom of the league because Leipzig needed a get-right game, and they got it as they had a chance after a chance running at that Heidenheim backline and blow them out to get 3 points, a clean sheet, and 3 goals. I mean, come on. It doesn't get much better than that. On the road as well. So good stuff.
We then move on to Mainz, getting an important 3 points that moves them from last place, getting the 3-1 win against Wolfsburg.
It all went wrong for Mainz in the first half as they went 1-0 down in the 3rd minute of this match. Then they miss a penalty in the 22nd minute, and to top it off, they have a goal line clearance to deny them an equalizer in the first half of stoppage time. Every single thing was going wrong for Mainz, just like it was all season long, and everything was against them. It felt like this was not going to be their day, but the second half, something switched, and they went off. It wasn't immediate, but they scored 3 unanswered goals from the 68th minute to the 83rd, and it's 3 crucial points for Mainz.
And then Saturday continues with Bayer Leverkusen getting back on track with a 1-0 win against Werder Bremen.
Hot damn, Leverkusen needed this too, because it was just 1 goal in the first half. That was the difference. But when you've lost back-to-back games like that, you just need to feel something. You need to feel alive, Vic. And they do that. They get 3 points here against Werder.
Our next match was your other No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was Eintracht Frankfurt and Hoffenheim. We already talked about that. So we moved to the conclusion of Saturday, and it was the best of the rest. Borussia Dortmund able to go into Union Berlin and escape with 3 goals and 3 points, winning 3-0.
And I was wrong about this one. So I'll go ahead and put my hand up. I know I said I was right about a couple things. I was wrong about this one. I felt like Dortmund's the vibes were off. They were slipping a little bit. It did not matter one bit here. Dortmund bounced back from their Champions League defeat and make it look easy with 3 goals, 3 points, and a clean sheet. I don't know why, but for some reason, it's just like whenever you get 3 points, 3 goals, and a clean sheet on the road, it's just like, that is awesome. Leipzig did it. Dortmund did it. But it's now 3 wins in a row in the Bundesliga for Dortmund, and they took advantage of the Bayern loss. Will it mean anything at the end of the season, Vic? Probably not.
Probably not, no. We then move on to Sunday, as Stuttgart are able to show up and show out, getting the 3-0 win against Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Stuttgart get their 3rd win in the last 5 games, and it shoots them into the top 4 in the way. What a way to rebound from the draw they had with Union Berlin last time out. I said that they needed to stop being full of themselves, stop being so arrogant. Sounds wrong, but yeah, just like don't start. What's it called? Don't put the cart before the horse or something like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, they were just getting a little ahead of themselves, and now they're getting back to their roots. So 3-0. And what is this again? 3 goals, 3 points, clean sheet on the road. Oh, love to see it.
Bravo. And your match day 19 ended at the expense of our cute little mascot as Freiburg get the solid 2-1 win against Cologne.
Oof, it was a rough day for our little goats as the Black Forest boys took them to the cleaners. It's 2-0 in the final scoreline, but Freiburg missed a penalty and had at least 2 to 3 more great chances that were blocked. Unfortunately for the Black Forest boys, the win for them didn't gain them any ground because all the other teams around them also won. So we do it again next week. And I know that Vic will show us that table, so we get to take a good look at it. Oh, he's pulling up. Look at my boy pulling up.
Yeah, but go ahead. You can steal my thunder. This is a good time for you to get. Let's go ahead. That was all of your matches from match day 19. Let's go ahead and take a look at the table. Oh, I might be drunk. I tried to put the stopper on this, right? Jesus.
Wow.
And fresh off a loss, but we don't think it's going to mean much. You still have Bayern Munich on top. They have 50 points. They are 8 points clear of the best of the rest. Borussia Dortmund, they have 42 points in the number 2 spot. Hoffenheim are your can it be number 3s. They have 36 points. They are tied with Stuttgart in the number 4 spot, who also have 36 points. They round out our top 4, of course, behind them on goal differential. If you look at the number 5 spot, tickling our top 4 is RB Leipzig. They're bouncing back and hoping to stay in those Champions League consideration spots there. And if we look at the bottom of the table, you will see Mainz. They're number 16 spot. I'm going to start with them from now on because it is a playoff spot for a relegation spot. I need to stop saying spot. In the 17th place, St. Pauli has 13 points, followed by a solid foundation for Bundesliga. Heidenheim in the 18th place with 13 points as well. They have a negative 25 goal differential. One thing I want to call out real quick is that if you look at the top of the table there, Bayern Munich still is 8 points clear of Borussia Dortmund, but they both still only have 1 loss. So things went just a little bit different for Borussia Dortmund. Man, it's not, that's true. It's not too far off. I mean, we've been
only
talking
four draw difference. That's it.
Yeah. And we've been talking about like Bayern Munich being the best team ever. I mean, 8 points is doable halfway through the season, a little more than halfway through the season. So quietly just staying up there with them very quietly.
Yeah, I was going to say the difference is that Bayern, I don't feel like they'll drop points, but I feel like I know that Dortmund will. But 8 points, I mean, yeah, if there's another game that they lose, I feel like I'll be more inclined to think, not just because it's 5 points, but just the fact that Bayern lost again, like they're mortal again. It wasn't a one-off. I just dropped my mouth.
Jesus. Chill, bro.
Anyway, the point was, I know. The point was that if Bayern show they're mortal and it wasn't a one-off, then I feel like I'll start to believe a little more. But right now, 8 points isn't big on the total, but it just feels like it's going to be insurmountable.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
I do agree with you. Yeah.
Anything else? I think we're good to go. So let's do it. Let's jump to Spain.
Let's do it to La Liga.
Well, the soothe sounds, man. It's the soothe sounds, smooth sounds, whatever. It's all good. Speaking of, I don't know why I just thought of this, but I'm looking out my window right here, and we're in Austin, if you haven't heard us say it before, and there's been some crazy weather, like you can't even call it like a snowstorm because there's no snow. It's just pure ice. Like I drove my car around for the first time. There's like, I moved the wheel, at least 2 inches of just thick sheet of ice on my driveway. It is insane. But anyway, yeah, outside of my window is between me and my neighbor's house. And it's like a ice skating rink. It is so smooth. Like you can just slide all the way to the back. And because there's not really a lot of sun that gets in that area, it's going to be a while before it thaws out. But yeah, when I said smooth, I looked out, I'm like, man, I have a vision of me just going out there and putting my daughter on like something and just, giving her, it's not a hill, but I like sliding her across it. Maybe she'll have fun with that. I don't think my wife will let me do it, but sometimes
just do what
these are the things that pop through my head. Okay. I was just saying, I got to get out of the house a little bit. I'm going a little stir crazy. What about you? Have you got out?
I went to Target for lunch. Yeah, I got out. It was pretty, we get a lot of sun over here. There are not many trees because I'm in a new subdivision. So there's not any big so we get the sun on all the driveways. The roads are pretty much dry. It was nice.
Yeah, the roads are starting to clear in my neighborhood, but the driveways are like the sidewalks and driveways are all ice, like completely iced. And I went to the park that's down the street from my house, and I was like, just turning around, coming back home. I was just getting out of the house, and instantly started spinning. I was like, all right, yeah, let's just go back home. We'll call it a day on that one. Wait till tomorrow. Daycare's canceled again tomorrow. It's just crazy times here. Okay. All right, let's jump back in. And you know what? We already wasted time. Let's do it, Vic. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. Enough with the water cooler talk. Let's go ahead and get into your top matches and headlines of La Liga Matchday 21. And our first match is Real Madrid keeping the fight for the top spot at just 1 point difference as they beat Villarreal 2-0.
Well, that kind of looked easy for Real Madrid. Villarreal never really tested Real Madrid, and Madrid never really had to get out of second gear to get this win. It felt like we should have gotten more urgency from the Yellow Submarine, who just have not been getting results lately, but instead it's another flat performance and another loss in La Liga. Their only saving grace is that a lot of the teams around them in the table also lost, so nobody gained ground around them, but they won't stay in the top four for long at this rate. And again, Real Madrid, it's good points, great results, but just like I was saying, it just didn't feel like they ever had to do much to get this win, which is typical for Villarreal in this game. I know we always put them in the top matches because how could you not? Villarreal has so many stars, but I'm starting to feel like it's just a Groundhog's Day. We do this every time. I get hyped up for Villarreal, Real Madrid, and it never ends up being great.
And your second match is the new American success story, Real Sociedad, keeping the momentum going as they get a convincing 3-1 win at home against Celta Vigo.
Real Sociedad get the win at home on another rainy, miserable night in San Sebastian. Miserable because it might have been cold and rainy. I can't say it's miserable because I bet it's beautiful. The food's amazing, but still, I mean, rainy, cold night, that doesn't sound fun anywhere on earth. But anyway, this is one hell of a new manager bounce for Reno, as we call him since we're friends, Reno Matarazzo, to come in and play games against Atleti, Getafe, Barca, and Celta, and to come away with 10 points from those matches. This is just incredible stuff, an incredible turnaround for La Real, and I hope that it's real because this is really cool to see and not just that new manager bounce stuff that we see happen very often, actually, whenever a new manager steps in. And I think this is real, though, because you can just see the fight and the drive that this team has that just wasn't there before. There were matches I saw where it felt like Real Sociedad had given up in the first half, and now you just see them running after every ball. The way that they're tackling, it feels like the effort is way more now. Real Sociedad had to play this match a man down for the entire second half and still found a way to break the deadlock and score 2 goals. And that's the type of drive I'm talking about. Now, it was terrible weather, and maybe you can say that that was an excuse for Celta for, not being on their game. But either way, I don't give a damn. This was fun to watch, and it's really cool to see. We have an American manager, and he is tearing it up in La Liga.
And those are your top matches and headlines for La Liga Match Day 21. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the match day. And it started on Friday as this round of the newly promoted teams battle goes to Levante, getting the 3-2 win against the tumbling Elche.
Levante get 3 points at the death in front of their home fans, and it was awesome. We were talking about it in the group chat. We were texting about it because the Elche equalizer that was right before that goal, the winning goal, it was amazing, dude. He got a ball passed to him in the box. He kind of boxes out and then does a bicycle. And it was just, oh man, it was perfect. And you thought that was the end because I believe that was like in the 90th minute, right around there. But 5 minutes later, there's about 5 to 6 minutes of extra time. They Levante ends up getting that goal, getting the winner. The crowd goes crazy. But we figured it was all wrapped up because Elche just seemed like that's what they do, man. And Levante, bottom of the table, they're not going to come back from this. And they do. So credit to Levante. What a game.
We then moved to Saturday, and it started with Osasuna making it 2 in a row with a 3-1 road win against Rayo Vallecano.
So think about this. It ends 1-3. This game was 1-1 in stoppage time. But Rayo lost control trying to find a winner, and Osasuna gets 2 quick-fire goals to get 3 points and, of course, 3 goals. It's not a 3-0, so we're not going to go crazy about that one. But also, our boy Anta Budimir gets on the score sheet again. He is breaking out, baby. He's coming back.
And then Saturday continued with the Valencia pouring onto the misery that is Espanyol's last 4 match days now, as Valencia win 3-2.
Valencia had a 2-1 win in the bag against Espanyol until a long-range shot from an Espanyol defender bounced off a Valencia player's butt, then into another Valencia player's face, and it changes the direction of the ball so quick that the keeper couldn't react against the entire run of play of the game. They were going to draw, and it was in stoppage time. A penalty was called for Valencia, and it didn't look like a penalty. VAR didn't intervene in a very high-stakes period of the game. You would think that they would, but Valencia score, and they get all the points. And now it shouldn't have been a penalty, in my opinion. I would say that. But Espanyol will complain about it. I know they will. But in my mind, their equalizer was so fluky that you can't really complain about a fluke penalty because, I mean, legit, the dude scores because it hits a Valencia player's butt into a Valencia player's face into the goal. Like, that's, come on. Your luck ran out whenever you get that penalty. But, yeah, again, just like the Elche Levante game, what a game. A lot of fun games in La Liga this weekend.
And our next match was a mid-table matchup, and it went the way of Sevilla as they beat Athletic Club 2-1, and that makes just one singular point the last 5 match days for Athletic Club in La Liga.
Yeah, not looking good. Sevilla have finally won a game, though. It took a matchup against the free-falling Athletic Club, but they got it done. And I thought that after a big win in the Champions League, Athletic Club would be able to carry some of that momentum over, and it just didn't happen. I am not sure what's going on with this club. I'm going to have to look deeper into it. If you're an Athletic Club fan, let us know in the comments what's going on, because I don't know who this is, but this is not the Athletic Club of the past couple of seasons.
And then Saturday ended with the No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was Real Madrid and Villarreal. We already talked about that. So we move on to Sunday as Atleti give their home supporters a good day at the pitch, and they get a 3-0 win against Mallorca.
Atletico Madrid get the rare non-nerve-wracking win here, and it is a comfortable throughout pretty much. I don't think that there was ever a point where it felt like Mallorca were going to come back. It was no nonsense, and it was unfortunate for Mallorca, who are now dangerously close to the bottom 3.
Our next match of Sunday was your No Business certified water is wet matchup of the week, as number 1 Barcelona beat bottom of the table Oviedo 3-0.
Yeah, another top side getting another no-nonsense 3-0 win. Barca got this win with some flair from their goals, most notably Lamine Yamal's ridiculous scissor kick for their 3rd goal. If you haven't seen it, go check out the highlights. The ball is passed to him, and it's behind him. Like, he's sprinting towards the goal, and it's behind him. And so he, instead of just, I don't know, passing it or trying to figure out or letting it ride, he just decides to stop and throw his big-ass leg and then wraps around it and scores an incredible angle. I mean, the dude's just so good.
And they Sunday continued with your other No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was Real Sociedad and Celta Vigo. We already went over that. So let's go on to Alaves getting a much-needed 3 points as they beat Real Betis 2-1.
Mm-hmm. Betis were stunned by a goal in the 3rd minute from Alaves, and you felt the confidence go in a pretty fragile team at the moment. Alaves got some crucial points here, but something's up with Betis. Looks like they've lost their mojo, and I'm not sure how they find it.
We then moved to the conclusion of Matchday 21, and it was Monday Night Football as Girona are able to salvage a point, getting a 1-1 draw at home against Getafe.
Girona were on a tear and had tougher matchups in that tear, I guess we'd say, than a free-falling Getafe at home. But this sport's weird, and weird stuff happens sometimes. Getafe were actually poised to win this, and if it weren't for a stoppage time header from Girona, they might have. But either way, Girona and Getafe 1-1. And I saw, if I hope I saw this correctly, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the Barcelona keeper who'd been there for years, is playing he's on loan at Girona now. I have to verify that, but that was crazy. I remember I heard his name. Let me verify, because I should have done this, of course, before the podcast. But let's see.
Hey, producers, we got our own fact checkers.
Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Let's see.
Okay. As a fact checker, I would not be able to spell that. So
yes.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he is on loan at Girona from Barcelona. Okay, this must have just happened recently because I didn't hear about it. I didn't see it. I just see the highlights, and he's in goal for Girona, and I'm like, okay, I guess he's there now. So, but what is Barca? Barca's got Juan Garcia, I believe is his name. Their Espanol thing. We had a whole segment about it.
Juan Garcia?
No, it's not Juan. It's like Joan, something like that.
You're just
Not a
pronouncing
very
Jamie.
no, not a very Mexican sounding name. I mean, obviously he's not Mexican, he's Spanish, but Mexican names, there's not one like that. It's always like you said, like Juan. There's no like Juan. Okay. I think that is it for Spain and the matchups.
Match day, we have a table to look over there. I think you're about to send us over to England. We're not done yet. We still have the table to look over for match day 21. Of course, your league leaders are Barcelona. They have 52 points in the number 1 spot. They are followed just behind them with 1 point to spare is Real Madrid in the number 2 spot with 51 points. Then there is a huge step up. We have 7 points to our number 3, Atletico Madrid. They have 44 points. 3 points behind them is Villarreal in the number 4 spot, rounding out our top 4 with 41 points. Then we have another huge step off, tickling the top 4 is Espanyol, 7 points behind Villarreal. They have 34 points. And got a little bit of coverage there to make up. And let's take a look at the bottom of the table. And number 18, you'll see Mallorca. They have 21 points in the 18th spot. I think I just said 18. They would be the first team relegated if the season ended today. Then you have Levante, the newly promoted side, with 17 points in the 19th spot. And a newly promoted side is the base and foundation for La Liga. They have 13 points. Real Oviedo trying to get things together. Not a win in the past 6 at least. I haven't seen in a while, but I don't know. Let's just try to get out of there.
Not good. Not good at all. Looking at Mallorca, we were just talking about it. One of our friends was wanting to vacation there in the summer. And I don't know if you've seen pictures of Mallorca, Vic, but this place is beautiful. And Hollywood stars go there. And our friend is definitely not at that, income level. So needless to say, he was astounded that it cost as much as it did. I'm like, yeah, you go into one of the most desirable places on earth in the summer in like the most desirable time. So yeah, of course it's going to be expensive. But we were talking about it because we do all of this prep for these leagues and the teams and everything in preparation for the seasons. But once we get in, it's just like, workflow. We just going through it. We have a system here. But I was reading a whole article about Mallorca, how I'm forgetting their names now. Coach Kerr. What is this? I can't remember his name.
Stephen Kerr.
Is it Stephen Kerr? Yeah. Steve Nash and a professional tennis player, and then Stu Holden. Are we talking about it? We get it? Yeah, Steve Kerr. Okay, yes.
Yeah, it's Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. Steven. There we go. No, Steven.
Hey, the producers are making fun of us, but like they watch basketball. We don't really watch so much basketball.
No, we don't watch basketball. The only time we watch basketball is when we go to a game, and that was 3 years ago when we went to a game. But either way, so Steve Kerr, yeah. So how about the last names, right? Nash, Kerr, Holden. Anyway, they're owners of Mallorca. So pretty cool stuff there. And anyway, just read a whole article about how they were just chill dudes who own a team, and they were all professional athletes. So very cool stuff. Yeah, and now they're in relegation zone. So not cool, actually. not cool. You don't want them to go. Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump in and go on to England.
Let's do it to the Prem.
Hey, okay, so it's Steve Kerr. Is it Steven Nash? Steve Nash?
No, I think it's Steve Nash, dude.
They're both Steve?
Kevin Nash? I think you're thinking of Kevin Nash, which is the rest.
It's two Steves? Definitely not Kevin Nash. I've never even heard of Kevin Nash. I don't know.
You know Kevin Nash. Big Diesel.
Okay.
Wait, that's also Shaq. But yeah, no.
Okay, so they're both no Stevens. They're both Steves. All right.
Yeah, they're both Steve. Yeah.
Hey, I need to catch up on my basketball lore. Okay.
It's not that important. You're good. Don't worry about it.
All right. Let's jump in, Vic.
All right. Let's do it. Let's go on to your No Business Soccer podcast. Top matches and headlines for Premier League Match Day 24. And your first match is, of course, your hate watch of the season as Manchester United get the upset going on the road and getting a 3-2 victory against your league leaders, Arsenal.
Arsenal are doing it again. They're choking away the title. They had a chance to lock it up in the last 2 weeks since City and Villa dropped points, but they couldn't capitalize. And then this matchup against the new look Manchester United, who at this point just need to hurry up and sign Michael Carrick to the permanent management contract. Arsenal are unable to score from open play, which has been an issue all season. This isn't a new thing, Vic. Everybody knows that they are corner united, essentially. They're just like, if they can't score from a corner, then they're not really scoring too much. And I say it this way, though, because it hasn't been an issue because they've been winning so many games. Like, how can you call it an issue? They're the top of the league. But the lack of scoring hasn't been an issue whenever you have the defense that can cover it up. But today's game, they were sloppy defensively. The first goal was actually a horrible back pass that ending up in the back of their net. But United's new boys, on the other hand, Cunha and Mbeumo, they have been outstanding for United. I mean, they were pretty decent under Amorim as well, but they're starting to shine under Carrick. Not to mention, Dorgu has been a different player since he has moved from defender to winger. Is it starting to get crazy for United as they get into the top 4 for the first time in a while now? But it is the first time they've won at the Emirates since 2005. Arsenal hadn't lost a home game in the league in nearly a year, and yet here we are. Crazy stuff that's happening. And of course, City and Villa gain more points to them. It's 5 points. We'll see the table here in a bit. But man, this could have been put to bed, and Arsenal choked it away.
And your second match is a sick joke, but it has Liverpool finally breaking their streak of draws, but not in the cool way, as Bournemouth take home the dub 3-2.
And this one, I had to make it as one of the top matches. And I know you didn't like to see that on there. It was a good game, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a good game to watch. What a game for the Cherries, who never gave up at home against the reigning, defending champs in Liverpool. It felt like Bournemouth went up 2-0 fairly quick and easy. And you started to feel like this wasn't Liverpool's day, but a Virgil van Dijk header prior to the half quieted the nerves a bit. And when you saw that beautiful free kick from Szoboszlai in the 80th minute, dude, is so good. You just knew that Liverpool were about to come all the way back, Vic, and get this win on the road. Except that's not what happened. The last 15 minutes or so were just balls to the walls from both sides trying to get that winner. Shot after shot, back and forth. It's like full court basketball. Well, I don't want to talk about basketball now. Apparently, I'm a dork. I don't know anything about it. But some sloppy defending deep into stoppage time allows Bournemouth to get their third and final go and take all 3 points. Vic, how did this happen?
I don't know, man. We just panicked at the end. It was not cool. And I think when I was watching, I was like, we're gonna give this up, aren't we? We're gonna give this up. Like, it's so hard for us to score 2. There's no way they're gonna leave without winning this. And it was the last kick of the game. It was
like a very sloppy play too, like scrappy ball bouncing around. Like,
yeah, I sent a screenshot of it to our chat whenever they scored, and you have Allison and on all fours you have Ekatike and in goal, and half of our team is on their ass. I'm like, boy, this is Jesus. This
is not a good
complete
look right
shambles. Now. Yeah, complete shambles is what we were. So
it's Slot on the hot seat already. I mean, golly,
I think so. I don't know.
Think that like he comes in, he wins the title, it gets him a little bit more grace than just half a season. So anyway, all right, we'll see.
He's not safe. I'll say that. He's not completely safe, but
okay.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, those are your top matches and headlines for almost said City. Premier League match day 24. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the match day. And it started on a day that was great for the home teams, Saturday, which also means ay que trista Sunderland as they take home an L, getting beat by the relegation-threatened West Ham 3-1.
West Ham are heating up. We told you that Sunderland are not the same tough team to beat away from home, and that was true in this one as West Ham went up 3-0 at halftime. Sunderland got one goal back, but it was never close. West Ham starting to get thinking, dreaming? I don't know what the word you want to use for it, but they might be staying up.
And then we move on to Fulham, continuing the home goodness, getting the 2-1 win against the visiting Brighton.
Take a bow, Harry Wilson. Fulham come all the way back from 1-0 down to take all 3 points. And the winner comes thanks to a free kick from range from Harry Wilson, who continues his breakout season. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
And our next match was the only draw from the weekend as Burnley and Tottenham split the points with a 2-2 draw.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Tottenham, I should know Steve Nash's name because he grew up in Tottenham. His dad is from there, like close to the stadium. He used to go as a kid all the time with his grandpa and his dad. I watched the whole thing about it, so I need to know. I need to watch the guy.
Damn.
I mean, He played for the Suns. That's correct.
Very good. There you go.
Yeah. See? Yeah. Wait. I don't know if you're correct. If you're telling me I'm correct, and I don't know if I'm correct.
You did.
I gotta check my. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
See? All right. That's my boy, Stephen Kerr. No, wait. Steve Nash. All right. Anyway. Okay. Let's talk about the game, though. Here we go. Spurs, specifically Christian Romero, he might have just saved Thomas Frank's job at Spurs after another loss was imminent to Burnley. They find a way to squeak by with the draw, though. Tough break for Burnley, they were the better team in this match, and they should have got a win. They needed those 3 points too, but then that place was rocking. Turf Moor was rocking, and Spurs eke by with a point.
And then Saturday continued with Manchester City getting back in the win column and had a great time as they beat the bottom of the table Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0.
Okay, maybe Wolves aren't going to be the most improbable team or improbable run ever after the new year, because City got back into form with a win and goals from Marmoush and Semenyo. It's music to the ears of the citizens. But yeah, Wolves, I think I was a little too excited to see this happen, because if they would have got a point here, I would have been super stoked.
And Saturday ended with your No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was the injustice of Bournemouth and Liverpool. So we then move on to Sunday. And don't worry, away sides, this was your day as Chelsea go on the road and get a 3-1 win against Crystal Palace.
Palace couldn't cope with Chelsea's speed and were routinely having their backline cut through like a knife through butter. This is bad looking for Glasner's chances of staying the rest of the season, but man, Esteval looked amazing out there. Chelsea and Liam Rosigne, I don't know how you say it. I think it's Rosigne. They don't look like a team that are only a couple of games into this new coach stuff. They look like they have it down. They look good right now.
And then Sunday continued as Aston Villa keeping pace to close the gap up top as they get a 2-0 win against Newcastle.
This it's starting to get weird, because I don't feel like Aston Villa is an actual title contender, but yet they are. And then in the table, they are. It's weird. But either way, Aston Villa get 3 points and a clean sheet on the road against Newcastle. And it's big because this was the first time Villa had won at St. James's Park since April of 2005. It was Newcastle's first home loss in 8 Premier League games, and a big result because, as we talked about, Arsenal dropped points. So Aston Villa technically are in the title race.
And our next match was another away side victory as Nottingham Forest continued their good run of form against Brentford, getting a 2-0 victory.
Well, if we thought the loss to Chelsea was a one-off, we were definitely corrected for Brentford's loss to Forest. Forest have not been great, and they dominated this game. Igor Jesus is definitely a big part of that reason. But, man, Nottingham Forest starting to get some momentum. And Igor Jesus is starting to stake, I don't want to say claim, but he's starting to put a stamp on a great season that might see him get into that Brazilian side.
And your last match of Saturday was your other No Business Soccer podcast top matchup of the week. That was Man U getting the win against Arsenal. We talked about that one, so we'll go on to Monday Night Football, and it was one that ended up being a pretty fun watch as Everton and Leeds get a goal apiece, a point apiece, ending 1-1.
Yeah, I had to make a call on which ones to watch, and I watched the other matches. I didn't get to watch this one, but I was catching up on some of the highlights, and what I saw was our boy, Big Teeth Barry. He got that win in the 76th minute. I mean, that dude's he's all teeth. And he gets that. He gets the equalizer. I don't know if I said winner take ago, but either way, it looked like Leeds were about to win that. He gets a late equalizer. They split the points. And either way, it's good for both sides. Let's put it that way.
And those Premier League Matchday 24 matches. Let's go ahead and look at that's funny. Big Teeth Barry. Let's go ahead and take a look at the table. And you'll see the gap is closing up top, but Arsenal are still your league leaders. They have 50 points in the number 1 spot. Followed behind them, just 4 points now, is Manchester City in the number 2 spot with 46 points. Tied with Manchester City is Aston Villa with 46 points as well in the number 3 spot. And then Manchester United now round out your top 4 in the Champions League position. Once again, they have 38 points, able to leapfrog Liverpool this past weekend. And then who also leapfrogged Liverpool was Chelsea. They tickle our top 4 with 37 points now in the number 5 spot. And then we look at the bottom of the table. As you see, West Ham United fighting for their lives. They have 20 points, but they're still the first team to be relegated. If the season ends today, they are in the 18th spot. They're followed by Burnley, who have 15 points, 5 points behind them in the 19th spot. And then Wolverhampton Wanderers still searching for double-digit points. They are in the 20th spot, a solid foundation for the Premier League. They have 8 measly points, and 6 of those coming in the last 5 match days. Insane. Insane.
On a Spurs podcast I was listening to, they were talking about how Spurs are genuinely in a relegation battle now. And I was like, no, they're not. It's 8 points above a team. And I looked, I was like, oh, wait, we played Burnley and West Ham back-to-back. 2 teams that, we are fighting the relegation battle with. And we lost to West Ham and drew to Burnley. Like, okay, well, that doesn't help our cause. And then if you take a look at the matches, so apparently February is going to be brutal. And I was like, all right, let's see. We have Man City, Manchester United, Newcastle, Arsenal, all 4 in a row. We could get genuinely 0 points from the next 4 matches. And yeah, I mean, hey, that's 12 points. We're only 8 points ahead. So yeah, dude, it's not funny anymore, Vic. Like, it's not funny anymore. Let me see.
Let's see. Turning a corner, man. It's you don't know.
Let's see. West Ham. They have they have Chelsea this weekend. So okay, we don't have to worry about that. They're going to lose there. Burnley, that's okay. Well, one of them has to lose, so whatever. Then they play United, and then they play Bournemouth, and then Liverpool. So not the easiest run either. So I don't expect Spurs to get many points, but I don't expect West Ham to get 8 points in that gap. So if we could just get through February, not in the bottom 3, that would be really helpful. And the fact that I'm even saying those words tells you how stupid this season is. Man, the podcast has given me an outlet to not I don't have to care about only Spurs because I'm watching all these matches, and so I'm like, it makes it a little easier to justify being just dog shit right now. And anyway, I don't know if I can send it pretty much from y'all. If they're in the bottom 3, golly, this is not going to be funny. Okay, Vic, I think we've said it all. DJ, play our music. Vic, if there's nothing else you want to say, then take us home.
That is all. We lost this week, so I am definitely done. Everybody, be sure to like and subscribe on every platform. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for TikTok, except for Twitter. That is all at No Biz Soc Pod. Everyone, we will be back to talk about this next week's matches for all 4 leagues, and we will talk to you all very soon.
Peace.